Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Tuesday, May 3rd, 2022. How you doing, everybody? Everyone that's listening in on the podcast, hopefully you had a good run, and hopefully it's dry for you out there, and at least not windy. I got rained on, and it was crazy windy today, but did manage to finally get the run in, so just barely made it in. And everyone watching this on YouTube later after the fact, hopefully you are at a point in your day where you can sit back and enjoy. Because today we've got Trivia Tuesday, and the theme for today is going to be, what's it cost? So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to show you guys a bunch of collab shoes. They're not necessarily running shoes, but they are from running shoe, well, one arguably is not a running shoe brand, or arguably is a running shoe brand, but yeah, so we'll get into that, but it's a collab shoe, basically a brand that has a shoe that works with a designer or a design house, and they put together a collaboration, and we're going to talk about what it costs. And you guys are going to guess what the cost is. All right, it sounds like Super Ninja says it sounds like I'm not coming through on the mic. Let me crank it up a little bit. Let me know, guys, if I need to adjust it a little more. Sounds like I'm in a tunnel. I'm not sure why that would be. I mean, I hear it fine. I'll just turn it up more. Hopefully that'll help it. Natika also says sound is off. All right. Let me know, guys, if there's any additional problems with the audio. I think it should be fine. I'm not sure what else I do. There's never any lights on the mic when I use it in podcast version, because then it goes through my sound recorder. The only time that there's lights on the mic is when I use it when I'm filming like a YouTube video, like a regular YouTube video, because then I just have it recorded sound separately and then I sync them up later. So that's just something that's going on. So hopefully it sounds okay. Some of you guys say it sounds okay. Some of you say it's coming through the wrong microphone. So let me check on that. It says it's coming through. Oh, let's try this. Oh, okay. Yeah, I could see why we're having problems. We are not coming through the right microphone. I don't know why it's doing that. All right, guys, I don't know how to fix that. Without, I really don't know how to fix it without leaving this stream. Hold on. Let me, let me see what I can do here. Let me see if I get it fixed up. All right, I'm gonna leave and come back, and hopefully it's still, like, the stream will still be there. All right, I'm gonna try this. It'll be an experiment. Hopefully this works. All right, guys. Okay, are you guys here? If you guys are back, I don't know why it's just not recognizing my external microphone. So we're just gonna go off of the MacBook Pro's microphone for today. So we'll do that. So hopefully we'll still be able to have a good time. And yeah, so I think I'm going just directly off of the MacBook's microphone now. All right. Okay, so yeah, I mean, some of you guys are saying it sounds better, but I don't think I did anything. It should be the same thing. I think I'm just talking louder now because I know I'm talking like to the computer instead of the microphone that was like right in front of my face. So, All right, today's game. What's it cost is the name of the game for today. And let me see, make sure, is that game set up? Is it ready to go? I gotta go find it now because it, yeah, here we go. Let's see if we can find it. Okay. All right. So let's see if I can find, share my screen, share the window. All right, let me pull it up. I got to pull it up a different way because the way that this software works. All right, guys, I had it all set up and then we got all messed up because of the microphone issue. So let me go pull up that slideshow one more time. And here we go. And then we can start playing. I think we're good. I think we're good now. All right. All right, Ron Tommy wants to know, is this Price is Right rules? Yeah, closest without going over is the one who's going to win. Yeah, Ron Tommy says, no going over $1 each time. All right, well, I mean, here we go. All right, so here's the first one. So Moncler is a luxury brand that focuses on, let's do it this way, that focuses on apparel designed for the mountains. And Moncler recently did a collaboration with Hoka, and they made the Hoka Moncler Mafate. And I think it's an absolutely, let me move my face out of the way a little bit. I think it's an absolutely beautiful shoe. I was unable to get it when it first came out because by the time I found out about it, it was already sold out because, I mean, look at the thing. It's absolutely gorgeous. So the guess is, I mean, I could tell you what, I'll tell you what it costs now if you were trying to get it on StockX, because I do kind of look periodically. But you have to guess, what was the retail price for this Mafate Moncler collaboration? Keep in mind that like a t-shirt from Moncler is like $190 or something like that. There's a baseball cap, I think, that they sell. It's one of their best selling items. I think I had it on the last slide. Here we go, let's go back. Yeah, that baseball cap, $190. The polo, $300. The jacket right there, $1,630. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's luxury, like fashion is kind of lost on me a little bit. What do you guys think? All right, we got some guesses in here. Matt thinks it came in at $259. HBC San Antonio says $400 as a guess. Andrea Escobedo, $225. What does the Mafate normally cost though? Anyone know what the Mafate normally is? Super Injit going big says $10,000. Jonathan Crossley says $995. Runtime says $264. Jason Dahl coming in very specific, $399.96. Awesome. All right. We got lots of guesses, kind of like a lot of them anywhere between $300 and $600. Scott says it costs more than Trackspin. Oh my goodness. The price on this one is $260. Was the list price when this shoe collab first came out, which Nataku says, not too much. And I agree, that's a really good price for that collab shoe. I think it sold out pretty much right away. And now I've been looking for size 9s on StockX. And those prices are in like the $400 to $500 for that, which I feel like even if I wore the shoe on the trails and like actually got use out of it, like several hundred miles of running out of it, it still is kind of a lot. And I don't know that I would want to pay that much for a shoe that I would mainly wear around casually because it is a pretty shoe. So I'm not sure, but the 260 really makes me wish that I would have picked it up right when I found out about it. But yeah, here you go. And it says I was $2 off. He was under. Oh, you guessed 258, didn't you? Yeah, really close. All right. Yeah, Christian said it's cheap for Moncler. Yeah, I mean, like if you want to get something with the Moncler logo on the side, this is probably one of the cheapest ways that you could have done it. Before I had seen this collab, I've never heard of the Moncler brand before. I'm not even sure if I'm saying it right. But then after I saw the collab, then I like researched the collab brand a little bit further, and I was like, oh man, this is expensive stuff. And then like the following weekend, I was back home in New Jersey and in line with my dad to get some bagels in the morning. And like the guy in front had like Moncler everything head to toe. He had like a Moncler knit cap, a winter cap, and then like this weird like turtleneck sweater jacket thing, and then Moncler like track pants. And I was like, it's an expensive outfit to go buy bagels in the morning. Super Ninja says, my wife bought me the Speed 2 at full price, and that's the most I've ever paid for a pair of running shoes, by about $65. Yeah. This one's expensive. I mean, all of these are going to be a little bit like surprisingly expensive because they're collaboration shoes. They're very small runs. There's not very many of them. And they're intended to be collector's items that, you know, I really hope that the person that's buying these shoes, the people that are buying these shoes, are getting out on the trails and getting these shoes like super dirty. You know? So I feel like, you know, if I were to go out to cover like UTMB, this is definitely a shoe that I would want to pick up before I went out there. This is the shoe that I would rock if I were up in Chamonix trying to chase the athletes around the mountain. It'd be a lot of fun. All right, let's get to the next one. All right, next, the designer is Salehi Bembry. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with him. He's a fantastic artist. He's been doing a lot of collaborations. Many of the collaborations that I've seen from him lately seem to be with New Balance. So he's been doing a lot of New Balance stuff, and it just looks absolutely amazing. But the one that I'm going to talk to you guys about today is this recent one. This one's not out yet. So when it does come out, I think it's supposed to come out this month. So when you see it come out, you might want to pick this one up because I think it looks pretty amazing. Here it is. Salehi Bembry did a collab with Crocs to make these shoes that are going to be coming out at some time this month, if I am understanding it correctly. So the question is, how much are these special edition collab Crocs? Any ideas? While we're waiting, we'll say this. We got this from Mika saying, just got back in from 60 Minutes Moderate. Nice. All injuries seem to have cleared up. Ran completely pain-free. I'm going to say that. I think that means pain-free for the first time in ages. That is fantastic news. Jonathan Crossley says, meanwhile, my favorite shoes to row in cost $24, and some of my favorite running shoes have been $65 or less. That's really good pricing. What makes for a good rowing shoe? I'm guessing probably a shoe that's like probably pretty minimal, firm on the bottom, like maybe like something that would be good for weightlifting. Augie Chen 7 wants to know if Kopuzi has a sunglass tan. I don't think it's a sunglass tan. I think it's a hat tan. Is what's going on here. That's what this line is. You know, there's like the little space in between the clasp of the hat, and then there's always that little like window. That's what's going on right here. All right, we got some guesses on these Crocs. I don't know what Crocs normally cost. If anyone has any idea what Crocs normally cost, let me know. Ines thinks that these are $125. Andres Gabedo thinks $30. $30 for something designed by Salehi Bembry. Jonathan Crossley thinks $99. JC says $145. A couple of votes for $145. Adam also voting for that too. Calix says $175, and Mark says $115. And Super Ninja says these are going to be too much for a pair of shower sandals. I mean, I've never wanted a pair of Crocs before, but I'm looking at these and I'm like, I don't know that I could pull these off, but they kind of look pretty amazing. So, Dad Runner Alice thinks, are these Yeezy priced at $250? Well, you guys will be excited to know that these are going to be on sale for $85. So, I mean, a bargain, really. Although I feel like this is going to be the year that we see some super expensive flip-flops, slides, and other kind of like summer shoes, casual shoes, recovery shoes, whatever you want to call them. So, I mean, I feel like $85, if you call them recovery, like a recovery shoe, $85 is a pretty good deal. Oh, that's funny. Innes says, though, that when it comes to rowing, he does use weightlifting shoes. And Jonathan says, rowing for me personally, exactly. Minimal and firm. I rock canvas Fayus, and they're great. I don't know what those are. Andrew Hans here. What's going on, Andrew? He said, yo, I finally made another one of these. Good to see you. And Chris says the Asics sandals tease continues. I'll be able to tell you guys about them more in about a month, I think. So it's, yeah. Yeah. Andrew says he's learning Premiere Pro for a YouTube channel recently launched. It's a bare computer I was using previously. Yeah, Premiere Pro, there's certain things about it that I think work a little bit better. But in a lot of ways, I don't know if you were using Final Cut before, Andrew, but that's what I'm using now, and I'm just very used to it now. The area where I feel like Final Cut is slower or annoying compared to Premiere Pro is if I want to work on different sections of the video at different times. So like Final Cut kind of assumes you're going to work from the beginning of the edit all the way through to the end. And it makes it really hard to be like, all right, I know there's going to be like a 3-minute block here, but I want to work on this section later. Premiere makes that really easy on the way that they have their timeline set up. Final Cut kind of like really wants you to like work on everything chronologically, which seems strange. All right. Brian wants to know if the Asics sandals have a release date. I think that there's going to be like a global release of those tied to the World Championships. So it's going to be somewhere around then. So that's all I can really say. All right. Scott says he uses DaVinci Resolve. I know nobody asked, but that's good to know. That was one that had my business, my real world job lasted longer. I was thinking about switching us over because I just got really tired of Premiere Pro and the subscription model. And I was like, and we use mostly PCs at work. So I was like, we got to figure something else out because I don't want to use Premiere Pro anymore. So I almost got there. And then, then the business shut down. So I never had to learn DaVinci. Okay, let's do the next one. All right, we've got this one. We're talking about Asics. Speaking of Asics, I think this was maybe a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. Asics did a collab shoe with luxury brand Givenchy. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. But they did it with the Onitsuka Tiger, which is Onitsuka Tiger is kind of like their fashion brand under Asics. I think it's still owned and operated by Asics, but it's definitely like doing its own thing. And the only Onitsuka Tiger product that I ever bought was the yellow, like the Kill Bill yellow Mexico 66s. And I do love those. They're not super comfortable. I got to tell you that. They're not great for wearing around all day. But I love wearing them. And they are not nearly as expensive as this Givenchy collab version. It is of the same model of shoe, the Mexico 66. But the question is, how much do you guys think this one is? And this thing says $388. Adam says it's a soft Givenchy. Okay, Givenchy. All right, you guys are teaching me things. I don't know. Jonathan Crossley thinks $549. Ron Tommy's coming in pretty close at $530 and 99 cents. Mark really likes these. They're dope. Louis says they're $259. Christian says $500. Liquor in the front, poker in the rear is $220. And Dwayne Scott says $575. Stephen 6, you run a marathon in this? I don't know. I don't like walking through the airport in mine. I wore them around. Where was I? Where I wore them around all weekend. I think it was in Boston where I wore them around all weekend, and just like walking around the city, and my feet were like, "Oh yeah, you are not used to this low profile of a shoe." It was tough. It was tough for me, but I mean, they're fashion shoes for me at this point, so it's like, Terry says $999, but they look great for rowing. It probably would be a pretty good rowing shoe. All right, the price on this one is $510. So a lot of people guessed over, but I think Christian guessed 500. I think that's the closest one without going over. So there you go. Awesome. Very cool. Frank says it costs 400 tacos. Depending on the tacos, that could be exactly right. Super Unjit says, I drive a car in those. I think that would be a very comfortable driving shoe. You get a lot of good feel. What do they call that? Pedal feel? I'm not sure. In terms of being able to really feel what's going on with the car. All right. We got like an actual running question from Brian Battaglia. Running a gravel rail trail marathon mid-May, would pet gravel influence your race day shoe decision? If so, what might work best? It would a little bit, and it's going to depend. A lot of it will depend on weather, so I would probably bring 2 shoes unless you're absolutely sure that it's not going to rain for a couple of days before the race and not during the race. Because once those get wet, they can get pretty soft. If it's going to be dry and you know it's going to be relatively firm, then I would say you can pretty much run in your like regular race day shoes. Rail trails are nice because generally they have a grade that is less than 1%, because of the fact that trains had to go on them. So like, you know, anything that would work on a flat, fast road marathon course is going to work for you there. The other thing to think about though is because it is a little bit softer than even like blacktop, you can go with the shoe that might feel a little speedier, but maybe you wouldn't use it on a regular road marathon. So like shoes that jump to my mind would be shoes that are lower stack, like the Meta Racer, or shoes similar to that, for example. Or I guess some more recent models would be like the, what is the Nike one that says 5K, 10K on the side? That one, or the Takumi Sen 8, I feel like would be really great choices. Or the Endorphin Pro 2. Now those are all shoes that I would not want to run a marathon in normally, but on a rail trail, it might really work out. Now, if it is going to be a little bit wet and muddy, I would go with something with a little bit of tread to it. The next video that comes out on the channel is going to be the Craft CTM Ultra Carbon 2. A shoe like that, which is like a race shoe, but with a pretty beefy outsole pattern, is going to be perfect for that. So that's something that I would kind of look at, something along those lines. So, yeah. Eric Paramont's here. He says, finally able to join. Howdy all. Oh, yeah, Streakfly. Streakfly is one. Oh, the Speed Elite would be a really good choice, too. That one is not one that I would want to take for more than like a 10K, but I could see taking that out on a rail trail marathon. That would definitely be a fun one to run with out there. And the Streakfly. Yeah, I haven't run in the Streakfly yet, but I think Andy, FOD runner, has been running his a lot in the Forest of Dean on those trails. And so I feel like that's exactly the type of terrain you could do for longer than the 10K that's kind of recommended on the shoe. All right. Let's get to the next one. All right, let's see here. All right, here's a nice one. This is one that I'm like, oh man, if this was actually like a decent price, I might pick this one up. So the next one is going to be a collaboration with Adidas and Gucci. So we've got an Adidas Gazelle, which is a silhouette of shoe that I love. I've had many pairs, maybe, I don't know about many, but I've had pairs of Gazelles before in the past. I think it's probably been a while since I've worn a pair, but I enjoyed the shoe, and it's got a gum sole, and it's co-branded with Gucci. So, I mean, look at that upper. It looks pretty awesome. What do you think that this one costs? I don't know what a Gazelle normally costs. If I were to guess, I'd probably be surprised if it were more than like $110. But I haven't actually priced a Gazelle in a while, so it could be more than that, and that also wouldn't surprise me. Steve says it's like a shoe purse. If you put like, if there were a pull tab on the back, you could like hook a purse strap to it, you know? Hook it at the front, at the top front of the laces. There we go. Let's see. Innes was the first one to guess at 189. Jonathan Crossley thinks 120 for a pair of Gucci shoes. Well, I don't know about that. Steve says 975. Matt Barry says 135. I don't remember what the price is. I've already forgotten. I think Matt Barry is really interested because he's got Adidas as his avatar for for his YouTube channel, or for his YouTube account. Mark thinks 175. Chris thinks 349, and Calix coming in at 199. Frank says, get it for trade-in for your 2004 Celica. It is a bit of a time machine to think about this shoe. But let's see. Let's go. And I think that they're not sure. The price hasn't been announced yet. But according to what I was able to find, the price tag is going to be, they think, around $500, which I feel like for Gucci shoes is pretty cheap. So, I mean, you're saving money, really. I don't know that I would buy that one, the one with like the Gucci print for the upper, but there is this color that I do think is quite appealing. I'm a big fan of like, I think to me that looks yellow, and this just looks like a big fuzzy tennis ball to me. And I love shoes that remind me of like just putting a tennis ball on your feet. It's probably not yellow. It's probably some sort of yellow green, but this one I think looks amazing. And $500 is going to be way too much for me to buy a pair of shoes, no matter how pretty I think they are. But I do think that this is pretty good looking. Jonathan Crossley says, Samsonite. I was way off. It was right there the whole time. And Kurt Thing says, yeah, for $500, it's a value play for sure. There you go. Ron Tommy had, I think, the closest. He had it at $499 as a guess. So I'm going to say $500 is about the price. So based on the rumors. Eric says, though, I can't stand the look of retro shoes. You don't like retro shoes, Eric? I'm a big fan of the retro shoes. You know what I don't love are, I'm trying to think. I don't think I have any of them in today's game. But what's been really popular are the shoes that look like the early Vomeros. The shoes that look like they came from like an alien spaceship, like those. I think that they were really popular like in the late, I want to say probably the early 2000s. So like one that came out somewhat recently was a re-release of like the Vomero 4. So I guess 12 years, that would have been like 2010 when that shoe came out. Like shoes from that time were just so hideous. And like, I don't want to go back to that. And I'm like, no, you got to go back another 10 years. Like 2010, 2005, that's a bad time to stop. Just keep going earlier. So that's kind of how I feel about it. But for the most part, I do feel like I do like a lot of the retro shoes. It's generally don't love the retro running shoes that much. But generally, I do kind of like it. But I think, maybe we're not disagreeing too much, Eric. He says, maybe indoor soccer flats, yeah, but all the early running stuff, meh, leave it there. Awesome. Jonathan says, I love the Saucony Icon collection. I have the Shift and the Pro version one. I think they look awesome, personally. I thought that was really well done when Saucony did that. They made them all look like Saucony Jazz. That was really, really well done. And I was kind of hoping that they would have continued doing that, but it doesn't look like they did. Anyway. Chris Dyke said, I tried and failed to bring back Velcro shoes in high school. Guess I wasn't cool enough. I'm a big fan of the Velcro shoes. I feel like there should be more of that. I don't know why there isn't. Anyway. Duke B wants to know if there's any Heelys on the list. There's no Heelys on this list. Nope. Not this time. All right. Let's go to the next one. All right. Speaking of the Endorphin Pros, check out this one. How come nobody told me about this? I had no idea until I was just like searching like shoe collab, like running shoe collabs. This one is absolutely amazing. It's by White Mountaineering. It's the Endorphin Pro 2 in pretty much all black, except for a couple of hints of what I think are reflective, but it's silver. This thing is absolutely amazing. Even the outsole rubber is all black. I wouldn't have minded having like a little pop of color all around the trim on the outsole, but I mean, these are some pretty shoes. I don't know who White Mountaineering is, but it does look pretty incredible. And this is the Endorphin Pro 2 that I wish that I had. So, what do you guys think that this one costs? Let's see. Jonathan thinks $249. What do the Endorphin Pros cost normally? They're a $150 shoe, right? Andrew Escobedo says $339. I feel like that's a good price for it. Eric says, it's like, how much blacker could it be? And the answer is none. I just really like this one. Innocence costs $375. And Christian says, that's some cool drip, as my 11-year-old just said. LOL. I think it looks great. I really like it. Dwayne Scott thinks $350. Lou Boy thinks $300. Kurt knows the answer to this one, so he won't guess. Nice. Lee Wilson says 279. Eric thinks 325. Luis Becerra also thinks 325. Jonathan Crossley thinks that the actual like Endorphin Pros are 199. Is that right? Sometimes I just forget all the prices for these shoes. The actual price on these, I was surprised by this, is 268. I don't know if you were able to get them in the United States because, at least according to this article, they're listing it in yen. So I don't know if this was like a Japanese release only, but about $268, which I feel like, again, you're saving money at this point. I feel like that was a really good price on that one because I feel like it looked amazing. And I guess it wasn't like they changed a lot on the uppers. A lot of times with the collab shoes, even on running shoes, materials get changed, the number of overlays get changed, all that kind of thing. But this one, it just looked like they just changed colors a bit. But like, I'd be super curious to see how that outsole holds up, the black color, because my understanding is you can't color that kind of material. You can only paint it. So like, how much is it going to flake off? What does that outsole look like after 100 miles? That's what I want to know. If anyone knows anyone that's actually running in there, White Mountaineering, Saucony, collab, Endorphin Pro 2s, I got to see some pictures. Someone, you got to let me know. Chris Dyke says, I prefer the black New Balance RC Elite 2 to District Vision collab. That's a good shoe too. And that one is pretty reasonably priced in terms of like the amount over what the regular RC Elite 2 costs. And it's by District Vision, which again is like, the prices maybe aren't in the Moncler kind of stratosphere, but like, they're in kind of like near space, I guess. Not outer space, but near space. Their District Vision isn't cheap either. So Eric says $68 worth of black permanent marker later, and boom. Sometimes that's all it takes to make me happy anyway. Yeah. Brian says that the color stripe just started peeling off of his Speed 2 after about 350 miles. See, for me, in my Speed, well, I just got to 100 miles in my Speed 2. I'll have to take a closer look at them. But in my Speed 1, I know right underneath the forefoot, like where I was compressing it the most, there a lot of that paint had chipped off, So, yeah. Miguel Peralta says, yo, what's up, Mike? What's going on, Miguel? How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you, Miguel. Look at that. Look at those medals. Looks good. All right. Let's get to, I think this is the last one. Last one for today. This one, this is just the regular webpage listing, and I kind of redacted what the price is. But it's by Vetements. I think that's how you say that. And it's a Vetements Star Wars collab of the Reebok. I think it's the Insta Fury. Yeah, the Fury Reebok pump. So it's like a triple collab Reebok pump, which I feel like, are we going to bring those back? I'd like to see them back. The Reebok pump, at least, I don't know if we ever saw it in a running shoe, but I'm interested. Reebok pump, Star Wars, and Vetements. So like these three things put together, what do you think the price is going to be? Hopefully, I'm trying to look on the left-hand side here. Hopefully there's no hints at the price because I thought I'd cut that all out. But this is a pump up shoe. The normal versions of this are like all sorts of crazy colors, like just primary colors like crazy. It's a disarticulated shoe. When I saw the Puma Fast R, this is the shoe that I thought, not this black one, but there's a yellow one that I saw that was like just made me think about those two shoes at the same time. It's got double pull tabs for what it's worth, and it's got I feel like the Star Wars should at least have been in yellow, maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't love this one, I gotta tell you. Eric says, ha 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 ha. I'm reading it out for the people listening on the audio version. There's lots of ha-has in here. He says, what the hell is that thing? Oh, that's so funny. Jonathan Crossley thinks this was $299. Inez is guessing $555. Mark's going to guess $150. Andrew Escobedo guessing $750. Super Engine thinks it looks like a cartoon horse's hoof. Christian says no, just no. What the heck is that? Joe Master says you couldn't pay me enough. CV76 that this thing says that this thing pumps up to 35 psi, and that Adam thinks that it makes Spud Webb look tall. It does seem like a tall shoe. I'm not sure what the drop is on it. I'm guessing that they didn't change the stack height and the heel drop on it. So I'm sure we could figure that out. Jonathan says, Reebok has had some interesting collabs, Star Wars, Ghostbusters, etc. Adidas did one with Legos. My 5-year-old asked for a pair. You know who did a really good collab with Legos? Saucony did a really good collab with Legos for a kid's shoe. And I've been trying to get them to make an adult version of it because I just love it. It's super, I think it's just super awesome. So anyway. Karen says the only part I like is the area between the toe and the heel. Dwayne Scott says, is that stack legal? I'm not sure. I think it was positioned as a cross-training shoe. So it's not strictly intended for World Athletics road marathons. But, yeah. All right. Dwayne Scott thinks this shoe is heel strike friendly. The price on this one is $790 for this shoe if you want to get the Vetements Star Wars Reebok Fury collab sneaker. So, I mean, again, if you think about what you're really getting, it's a value. Oh my goodness, guys. That's going to be it for the trivia for today, but that is really the price on that shoe. I mean, I'm glad that that Reebok is allowing experimentation with the pump. I don't know that. I mean, I'm a pump fan. I'm a Star Wars fan, and this isn't even speaking to me. So I'm not sure. So that's gonna be it for the trivia for today, guys. Woo. Do we need to do that one again? I mean, there's so many. You could keep doing that for a long time. That being said, I don't want to completely make fun of the genre of the collab shoe. I love collab shoes. And I know some of them are very expensive. I don't think I've bought any of the too expensive ones, but I do love the way that they're pushing design. But sometimes the prices are a little bit confusing, but I guess, you're buying more art than you are buying something that's useful. So in that sense, like, the price is whatever people want to pay for it, I guess. Kurt wants to know who owns the Reebok now. I thought Adidas sold the brand. My understanding is that they did manage to sell them off, and I do think that the sale was completed. I think it went through. I want to say it's like something called like Athletic Brands Group, ABG or something like that. Which ABG or whatever that group is, one of the major owners of that group is Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal, having been a Reebok athlete for his entire professional basketball career. So I feel like things are coming full circle. So I kind of like that aspect of the storyline. And in that sense, I'm really hoping for some Shaq re-releases. Not that I ever wore a Shaq shoe, but I just love to see a Shaq shoe re-release. Maybe they've already done that before and I haven't been paying attention. I don't know. But that's one that I think would be amazing. Especially because I just saw yesterday, who was it? Someone was posting pictures of the Penny Hardaway version 1s. And I was like, man, that was a really good looking shoe back then. It looked like that era, late 90s, Nike basketball shoes, like the shoes all looked like they were from the future. And if you go back and look at them now, they still look futuristic. I just think that they were amazing designs back then. Maybe it's just I was super into Nike basketball shoes at the time, and so it's just something printed. But if there's a re-release of the Penny Hardaway 1s, and I think we need to get a re-release of the Shaquille O'Neal Reebok shoes. I mean, those were not pretty shoes, but I'd be pretty excited to see a re-release. Oh, and here we go. Terry says, FYI, the Asics Ventilate singlets are now available in the UK. If you're interested, yeah, those, I would go get them now if you guys want them, guys. If you need that, if you want that singlet for the summer, get them now. I don't know like what the inventory is going to be like on those. I'm a big fan of it. They were called Breathe last year. I think Ventilate's what they're called this year. I posted some links onto my Instagram story, and I posted links in the description below a while ago when they first like released. So that's something to pick up. They're a little bit expensive. They're not as expensive and they're not as pricey as some of these collab shoes that we've been talking about today. But I feel like that one, the utility is there. You're certainly getting a high-end, top-of-the-line singlet with those. All right. Let's see what else. What other news we got here? Adam says Mike Wardy is running from San Francisco to his home in D.C. 50 miles a day, and he started Sunday. I mean, that's crazy. 50 miles a day. I mean, I know he's a professional ultra runner. 50 miles a day is a lot. How many days is that going to put him at if he keeps on that schedule? I don't know. I mean, that'll be pretty impressive to see. All right. Let's see. Christian says, spot on, Mike. Big Shaq spoke about them recently, and to stay tuned to what he had planned. Oh, I think that'll be amazing if we see it. I mean, when they do that, you know what they're going to do. They're going to re-release it with Shaq giving to normal-sized humans, like one of his shoes, because he had giant feet. And I mean, that was like the marketing ploy in the 90s. I mean, they got to bring that back, right? Awesome. That's so cool. Very excited about that. Chris Dyke said, my neighbor growing up was a Nike rep. Awesome. I had a pair of the Pennies among other sweet basketball shoes. Yeah. I mean, I had the, I don't know that they were actually called Jason Kids, but like they were the Zoom Flights. It was the first shoe that had Zoom Air in them. Those were some of my favorite basketball shoes ever. Those are really good. This would have been like 1996, 1995, something like that. Maybe 1997. Yeah. Those Nike shoes were amazing. So amazing. All right. Kurt says, used to work at a Foot Locker. I remember at halftime, the basketball coach was yelling at us, and he said, I don't care if you have $200 shoes, you still look awful out there. And it was directed at me. That's so funny. Oh, man. Kurt says, I had the original pumps. I did not have the original pumps, because remember when they first came out, there wasn't a lot of inventory. They were hard to get. They were super expensive, relatively speaking. And not a lot of people had them. It wasn't until like maybe 2 years of pumps had been out. Then Reebok came out with the sub-genre line. Like it was called like Blacktop. So there was Reebok pump and then there was Reebok Blacktop. These were intended to be more, I guess, urban-oriented shoes. You know, this would have been right around the time of, I guess it would have been after the time of like NBA Jam, the video game. Remember that? There was a street version of that game that came afterwards too. So it was like a little bit around that time. I had those. They were Kevin Johnson, Reebok Pump Blacktop shoes, and I thought they were pretty amazing. I love those shoes. Stevie76 is remembering his Fila Grant Hills. I was a big Grant Hill fan. Those were heavy. Those were very heavy shoes. Jonathan Crosby says, I used to like the Nike, like the football collabs. I had a pair of Michael Irvins as a kid. Oh, I didn't know that there was a lot of football collab shoes. He says, I remember having Griffey spikes for baseball as well. Nice. Stevie76 says, there was an LA Gear Carmelo. I remember those. I don't know anyone that had those. That was not a popular shoe in suburban New Jersey. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Such great memories. I mean, I feel like this is the right group to have this kind of nostalgia with. Anyone? I mean, these are old shoes. These are shoes that existed a long time ago. Oh my goodness. You know, I've tried like looking up to see what the prices are on some of these old shoes that I remember from like my high school days, and they're not terribly expensive. But it's also like, it's a 30-year-old shoe basically, or a 20-year-old shoe. I guess like a 25-year-old shoe for me. So it's like, they're not going to be comfortable. I'm not sure what the foams are going to feel like if they've never been worn, you know, I don't know. So We'll see. Colin says that British Knights MC Hammer shoes were the best. I can't even envision what that was. I'm gonna have to look that up. Jonathan Crosby says the Nikes with the big arrow on the side made a comeback as well. Those are really popular in Chicago because I feel like for a while those got very closely associated with Scottie Pippen and to an extent Horace Grant too. And so like in Chicago there's like a big connection with that. So those are huge here. I see them all over the place. All right. Dwayne Scott said, I think also Adidas had a shoe where you could change the color of the stripes, like with like a Velcro stick on, or like hyper color. Is that what that's called? Where you touched it, or if you sweat, it changed color. I'm trying to envision what the color change mechanism was. Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for indulging me in the collab shoe What's It Cost game, and then especially for this little trip down memory lane for some of this old basketball shoe nostalgia. This was a lot of fun. Tomorrow's video, let's see, we may have a video tomorrow, but the next shoe video is going to be about the CTM Ultra Carbon 2. That should be Friday. We may or may not have a video tomorrow. We'll see. But regardless, I'll see you guys tomorrow at the live stream. So it'll be Wednesday. So it'll be just a regular live stream, same time as today, 1 p.m. Central Time. Hopefully I'll see you there. And in the meantime, there could be some rough weather out there for a lot of you in the U.S. So be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.